Do you want to take your content to the next level? Use AI to create audio from just pure text? Now you can. This groundbreaking AI tool lets you create any kind of audio from text using voices that actually sound human. It's insane. Imagine what you could do. Dynamic news, engaging newsletters, audiobooks, automated audio on any kind of videos. Damn, insane. In this video, we are going to look how we can actually use it from the UI and how it works and the quality of it, but also automating it. Looking at the API, seeing how we can automate within workflow and adding it to Magic Tellers. If you don't know what Magic Tellers is, just check out this video up there. All right, we're on ElevenLabs. The first thing they show is actually the product. So let's go ahead and paste our text and try it out.
Welcome to Build with Vince. I help people like you to build with artificial intelligence without code. You don't need to be a tech or AI genius to empower yourself. Let's just build stuff and have fun.
Damn. It's like how I would wish I could speak in American kind of way. Yeah. So it actually speaks better English than I do. So pretty good, right? Pretty good. This voice is a little bit nosy in my opinion. I don't really like it. But I could also have it as like Rachel and...
Welcome to Build with Vince. I help people like you
there you
build
go.
with
It's
artificial intelligence.
Not Build with Vince, it's Build with Rachel. This is basically what ElevenLabs do. They are a text-to-speech AI. What that means is they take a piece of text and they just speech it out in audio in a very, very human voice. What we're going to do now is we're going to actually create an API, an account, and actually create it with my voice or your voice. All right, so after signing up, the first thing, there's a few tabs. We have speech synthesis, right, where you have basically those different options, the pre-made one. And if you go into voice settings, you can basically also add a voice. There's different ways you can add a voice. You can add a voice as voice design or instant voice cloning. So the voice design is basically, let me say, there's going to be a male, young, and then British, and we're gonna give the accent strengths like a little bit but not too much. And then here I'm gonna re-add welcome to Vince, and I'm gonna say generate the voice.
Welcome to Build with Vince. I help people like you to build with artificial intelligence without code. You don't need to be a tech or AI genius to empower yourself. Let's just build stuff and have fun.
That's basically what it is. It aims you to generate a voice, and if we want to use that voice, then we can actually just create it and use it as an API. But what I want to do in this session is actually I want to create my own voice. I'm going to go here and say instant voice cloning. I'm going to say Vince. Now what you have to do here is you have to upload a file which is an audio. I'm going to use the audio from earlier up until now, and I'm going to upload it here. All right, now just added ElevenLab audio, labels, accent, French, yes, and person, Vince. Perfect. I hereby confirm all the necessary stuff. Let me just add the voice. Now it's gonna use the AI model to create the voice. That's it, it's already done. Okay, cool, use. And I'm gonna say, welcome to Build with Vince. Okay, let's see what you guys think. Do you think it's gonna be good? Here's the voice. I mean, my voice, but it's not my voice. You know what I mean?
Welcome to Build with Vince. I help people like you to build with artificial intelligence without code. You don't need to be a tech or AI genius to empower yourself. Let's just build stuff and have fun together.
Insane. Basically sounds like me, right? Well, I mean, better, because I think there's no the French stuff, you know, like the little added stuff, but oh my God, insane. Be careful because, you know, the next videos, if you don't see my face anywhere on the screen, most likely this buddy just did it for me. That's all you got to do. You just create your voice in the platform and that's it, done. Now, obviously you can do this programmatically For example, someone would upload their voice and send it to the API, and you would just create their voice name and they could just get the data from that. Or you could also just create those voices and then directly use them in the API to generate a massive amount of speech data. So in case you're not techie and you just wanted to check out how ElevenLabs work, that's it. That's for you. Thank you for coming. If you want to build stuff with this, keep watching. So first, let's go to their API. So I'll be honest, their API is very straightforward, but it isn't the clearest for most. So I will explain. By the way, API is basically the access that you had on the previous UI, but now through the backdoor of their engine. So you can automate and build stuff programmatically for the guys who don't know what an API is. So there's two things. Mainly two things we're going to use. We're not going to create voices automatically in this session. We're mainly going to do text to speech. So this one, V1 text to speech voice ID. So the voice I just created, clone Vince, basically is the one we want to use. However, I don't really know what that, voice is in terms of ID. If I go into the voice lab and I search for this one, there's no information about what the ID is. So guys, by the way, you might want to change that, but I guess it's because they just want people using the API to actually do that. So here's a little kind of way to do this. You have voices and you can just get all the voices. That's the call. We could make a call, but for this purpose, we don't really need to. All we need is to just get this Swagger. This is what it's called, by the way. This is the application behind this, Swagger, to return the result of our list. So if I do it right now, it's not going to give us my voice in there. It's just going to give all the pre-made voice, category pre-made voices that we saw right until the end, all of them pre-made. The reason for this is because I didn't sign in. I didn't give my API being basically my, private key to my account. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go into the top right and profile. And here you have API key. This is what you want to copy. So I'm going to go here, copy mine. Right. Shut up, Siri. All right, you copy your API key. So once you've copied your API key, you're going to go back to the Swagger, and you're going to change to, not here, to voices. And you're going to put here your API key. Execute. Once you've executed, now at the bottom, we should see a new voice. Label Vince, all of this. Sample voice ID. Right, Vince. Well, I don't know why I wrote it in this way. My bad. And this is my voice ID. That's my voice ID. That's what I want to keep, right? I want to know now that this is always the ID I'm going to use for Vince. Just keep it on the side. That's it. That's our voice. So now when we're going to go to the text to speech, we're going to say, okay, let's try it out. Okay, here I want actually my specific voice. I want to re-add the API key here. And now I can go into the call of this API. Here's what is interesting. You have text, voice settings, stability, similarity, boost. So if we go back to the actual speech synthesis where we had clone Vince, I said 44%, so 0.45, and then this was 1, the clarity. So if I go back to the API, I'm just going to say 0.45 and here 1. And then the string, I'm going to say the exact same one as before, and I'm just going to copy it here. Okay? As we do this, what I've got to do is say execute. That's it. And now let's listen to the result.
Yo, welcome guys. This is Build with Vince.
So this is exactly
like you to
the
build
API
AI
call that we're going to use. Now, there's different ways we can use this. We can use this in Bubble, which we're going to use as well for magic tellers. But before we do that, I thought it would be interesting to actually come up with a new tool that you could use this for and with, because I know not everything in no code is just Bubble. There's so many tools out there, and I want to try and you know, bring all these tools to you and give you opportunities to think about what you could use all these tools for. So we're going to use a workflow automation platform called Make. There's a link below. You can just access it. What we're going to do is exactly this call that we just saw, and I'm just going to do it there, and that's it. I'm going to give you some ideas of how you could use this platform to automate. It's very similar to Zapier if you've used it, but it's way more advanced, way more powerful. So let's go to Make and create a new call. So from what we've seen before, this platform enables you to, you know, connect with different things. You can use Airtable. If you use Airtable, you can go Google Sheets. You can use thousands of different tools. Unfortunately, ElevenLabs isn't part of it because it's kind of a new API and most APIs aren't. So it's quite important that you understand the concept of using API calls within Integromat. Sorry, Integromat used to be the old name, so I'll just probably say it a few times. So Make or Integromat, right? So in here, let's not talk about this yet, but I can create a module, and that module will be an HTTP call. An HTTP call is basically an API call, a request to an API call. So we're going to say, I want to make a request. That's basically what it is. And we're going to make the request to ElevenLabs. So we're going to make the request to ElevenLabs. How do you know where to call, what to call? Well, it's fairly simple. What you need to do is you need to go in here and you have the entire curl. So I know I've mentioned before what a curl was and how you could use it and, you know, copy paste in some places. In Integromat, you can't really do that. However, it's fairly simple. We're going to go step by step. The request URL is this one. So this is URL that you're requesting. So we have the API of ElevenLabs, v1 text 1 speech. So this is the section or the, you know, the sub path where we can do the text to speech. This ID is our specific voice ID, so my voice. And the method is a post. So where is it written here? Here, post in the curl. So we're posting some data, we're sending data, which is the text, and some parameters, and it's going to return some extra information. In the curl, we have H. H means headers. So these are headers. So we're going to have 3 of them. We're going to have accept audio MPEG. We actually don't really need to put it. We can just say XAPI key. That's my API key. Then I'm going to add another one, which is going to be content type. Probably don't need to do it because it will be below, but I can just always add it in case things don't work for you. It's often this issue around content type. Okay, there we have it. Then we're going to go for the D, which is basically the body type content. We're going to have body type, which is going to be raw, and the content type is JSON. Well, as soon as we do this, this sets automatically the content type in the request header, which is the reason why we don't really need that. Now, if you don't put the content type and just put text, that's different. So this is why this content type doesn't really need to be there, because it says sets the content type request header. If you don't have an application like Make to do this automatically for you, you should put it in the header. Request content. So the request content is basically all of this, right? Yo, etc. We check there's an open parenthesis here. There's a second one here, it close, and I forgot one, and it close. Close. We always want them to all close. Perfect. Yes, parse the JSON. Parsing makes it basically more readable and to use for data later on. That's it. And then we run the module. You can see there's been no error. A status code of 200 means their API call has been correct, and this is the data. Now, what does that mean? It's a very good question. Thank you for asking. That is a data format of our audio. It's binary, so it's not an URL. So what you would want to do from this is you would want to upload to a certain place. So either wherever you're using this data, they understand that file format, binary format. But if they don't, you could store that into a place like Google Drive. I'm going to say file name would be, I don't know, Vince test, okay, .mp3, most likely, yes. And the data is going to be the result of that data. It's going to be data, okay? And as I do this from that API call, I'm sending to the Google Drive the file. So I'm going to do this again. This is all over again the same. And here we have the file. So let's check if we do. All right, here it is. So we have the file here. Let's double check it works.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome, guys. This is Build with Vince.
So now that we have the file in Google Drive as an URL, right, you can see how easy we could use that either as a Google Drive, to use it within your marketing team, or else. Another thing you can do that I haven't shown you yet, and it's using Airtable. So imagine here you would have a database in Airtable with all your different text of audios. And what you would do is you would go here and say, create, an Airtable link, get all my data, run this module only. So I'm going to get basically all these different outputs. Let's limit to one output first. And here I'm getting, it helps in creating a strong brand entities, like whatever text you want. And then we're sending this now to the ElevenLab. And we're going to say, instead of saying yo, 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 now I'm actually using my voice and I'm going to use something from Airtable, such as this text. Okay. And I'm going to run it. So now it's taking the text from Airtable, using ElevenLabs to actually get the data from a speech and audio with my voice and uploading it to Google Drive. So if we try it again and we go back to this one,
it helps in creating a strong brand identity and reputation.
There you go.
Through authenticity and openness.
So now that we created this, again, you can see the power that we just have, right? With this little workflow, I could have thousands of Airtable rows, sending the data, getting my voice back, and then I can use that in anything. So obviously, I'm not going to go into more details, but just to give you some ideas. You could then push that back into data, into Airtable. So you have thousands of elements of my voice with different things that I want to say, which means for any kind of videos on TikTok or for any comments, I would have someone filming this entirely for me. And then I would just say like, oh, just add the comments as a voice, or they make the comment themselves. Right, throughout the video, we use then the subtitles, and then we just use this to like have my voice on top. And I would then basically just have kind of like videos that I made, but I didn't make them because it was made by someone else. Now we are going to actually build this within Magic Tellers. So we actually have our stories not only in text, but also in audio. All right, welcome back to Magic Tellers. If we go to the API connector and we add another API, and we're going to call it ElevenLabs, and then go to import the curl, I'm copy pasting the curl that we just went through, and that's it. We got the code, they accept all of this automatically, yo, yo, yo. Now, obviously, this is the piece that we want to have automated. Stability, etc. For now, let's just keep it as is. I actually don't really want to use my voice because I feel like my voice isn't really, so I'm going to use a different voice, one of these voices that we had before. So we're going to go quickly in here. We're going to say add a voice design, gender, female, American, British. We're going to put this not too much, around 95%. I'm going to say generate.
First, we thought the PC was a calculator. Then we found out how to turn numbers into letters, and we thought it was a
I don't like this voice. Let's generate a new one.
First, we thought the PC was a calculator. Then we found out how to turn numbers into letters, and we thought it was a type.
All right, that one is way better. Let's use that. Let's just say use voice, and I'm going to call her Magic Taylor's Woman 1. Now we've created the voice. Going back quickly to the API, put API key, try it out, API key, execute, and I'm going to have Magic Taylor's Woman, and I'm going to use this voice ID now. Going back to Bubble, let's change the key here. One thing, if you wanted these to be dynamic, which we might want in the future, you could just say here voice ID and have the value voice ID, right? So I'm keeping private, but I could change that in the future with my bad database of having different voices as drop downs. We're gonna keep all of these private. Out of these text would be yo. So we change here data type to being a file, and then as we do the call, nothing happens. But actually, if you preview it,
Yo, this is a test.
so we do actually have it. Right, so this is, we return the information through the file. So I'm going to change that to an action. All right, so once we have this is basically it. When we do in the workflow today already with the generate, we're going to add an extra call on top of it, which is going to be display the result, and then we're going to continue. We're going to say API ElevenLabs curl call, and I'm going to say here input, right? Input, no, actually it would be result. It would be the result of the output. Okay, so the same thing here would be the output. And then from that result, we're going to change the call, make changes to story, and we're going to say, we're going to add something new, which is going to be audio. And we're going to have here file, create. And the file will be results of step 5, saved to S3. Let's just keep that. I think that's it. So in the plugin, we can check the different plugins for audio and video. I think we can just say player, audio player. I think this one is free. I don't think there's one specific from Bubble. So we're just going to use this first one. Custom audio player, that's it. And we're gonna add here somewhere, we're gonna add custom audio player at the top of the story, right? Oop. And at the top of the story, we're gonna make this a little bit larger. I actually have no clue how this will look like. It looks weird. Okay. Appearance, I'm gonna use this. Dynamic link, parent group stories, audio. That's basically it. Let's preview. Let's say storyline, don't hit your brother during the day at uni. Morale, hitting is bad. Jack, mouse, male. John, mouse, male. So now this is going through what we had done in the previous sessions. If you want to check out these videos, I'm going to show them on the screen. We have create a new story, use OpenAI to use it, to create a story, make changes to the story, display the data in the result, which is happening right now, ElevenLabs to actually create audio out of it, and then update the database. And obviously it's not working. I know what's going on here. What we need is to clean the data. It's a JSON issue. I've seen this a couple of times. So first, to make sure we're using the latest data, I think we're just going to use result of step 3, audio output, right? So we're going to get the output directly from OpenAI. What we're going to do here is we're going to find and replace anything that's double colon and we just replace this with 1 colon. Then from that, we are going to send that information. So we're going to show JSON format safe, but sometimes the JSON format safe, what I've seen is re-add the columns. So I'm going to then find and replace, change the column to this. Again, I just want to do this quick and maybe a bit dirty, but I know this will work. So if we change that, and audio will be the result, that's fine. Now let's preview this again. Woman, generate. All right, here it is. So let me just maybe click this.
Jack the mouse loved to play with other animals' toys. He always thought it was exciting to have something new and different to play with every day. Unfortunately, he didn't seem to understand that it was wrong to take other people's toys without asking for permission.
Not all right. Well, this is working. This is good. So we need a start button, a pause button, and that's it. Let's try this out. Start.
Jack, the male pig, loved to eat. He didn't care if he had to eat from the floor. He couldn't digest his food properly and had to be hospitalized.
That's it. Thank you, ElevenLabs. We just basically created a fantastic audio from text that was generated by an AI itself. Imagine what we could do with this. Well, we're building magic tellers together, so at least we can do that. Subscribe to my channel if you're excited to build more things and learn about AI and no code together. And excited to see you in the next episode where we continue to build together.